Greetings, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine the hallowed halls of the United Nations echoing with the timeless words of Shakespeare. Welcome to the UN Movie Society's second annual Shakespeare at the UN, celebrating English Language Day 2025, where we are about to witness the bard's enduring relevance to our global mission. We're not only presenting monologues, we are igniting a conversation about how Shakespeare's profound exploration of the human condition speaks directly to the UN's core values, fostering understanding and forging unbreakable global connections. Shakespeare's literature transcends mere words. It mirrors our shared humanity, echoing the very essence of the United Nations. To illustrate this universal connection, excerpts will be performed through a multilingual and multicultural lens, featuring performances in several UN official languages, including Mandarin Chinese, and also unofficial languages such as Swedish and Ukrainian. The program includes monologues on peace and war. We will also address the UN theme of climate action with Michelle Terry, Artistic Director of the Globe, performed by a stellar cast of artists including Stephen Fry, followed by brilliant contributions from the Royal Shakespeare Company. London's Royal Central School of Speech and Drama will illuminate the vital themes of sustainable development and its global impact. And finally, we will explore human rights themes through Shakespeare. We extend our deepest gratitude to Her Excellency Dame Barbara Woodward, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the United Kingdom to the United Nations, for her opening remarks. The UN Movie Society is thrilled to collaborate with our esteemed UK partners, the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, led by Principal and CEO Josette Bushomingo OBE, the Royal Shakespeare Company, led by co-artistic directors Daniel Evans and Tamara Harvey, Shakespeare's Globe, led by Artistic Director Michelle Terry, and the Shakespeare Institute, led by Director Michael Dobson. We thank them all for their invaluable support and collaboration. Our heartfelt appreciation resonates with extraordinary actors, the dedicated behind-the-scenes crew, and our inspiring partners from around the world, including the Royal Academy of Dance in London. Above all, we thank Dr. Richard Keith for his mentorship. Your passion and artistry have brought this project to life. Thank you all for sharing your art and thereby your humanity. As we embark on an extraordinary journey into the heart of Shakespeare's timeless wisdom, may these performances spark profound reflection, inspire healing, and ignite a renewed commitment to the noble ideals that unite us as nations under the banner of the United Nations. I thank you.
One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. Ulysses' line in Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida reminds us that nature can be a powerful unifying force. It's a belief that we share here at the UN, where we must confront threats to peace and security, including the climate and nature crisis, and collectively drive progress on nature protection and restoration. Shakespeare drew heavily on the natural world. The forest of Arden in As You Like It and the woodland in A Midsummer Night's Dream represent freedom and transformation. Ominous flocks of ravens, crows and magpies provide warning. As Hamlet cautions, there's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. While swans, doves and nightingales characterise longing and joy, it was the nightingale and not the lark that pierced the fearful hollow of thine ear, Juliet tells Romeo. In Measure for Measure, Claudio agonised for the smallest of creatures, and the poor beetle that we tread upon in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies. The natural world is used to demonstrate the universal experience of suffering, regardless of size or perceived importance, reminding us to be nature's voice and defender. The UN, turning 80 this year, born from the horrors of World War II, is a stage for the world's most pressing challenges. As my Foreign Secretary has said, the climate crisis is the most profound and universal source of global disorder. We must act effectively, urgently, and together to address it. Shakespeare could not have foreseen this threat over 460 years after his birth, but he seems aware of the beginnings of man's quest to manipulate the earth. The blasted heath in Macbeth is a man-made space that symbolises a wasteland for witches and represents the chaotic, unnatural forces that Macbeth encounters. Cutting down the trees has led to the soil being stripped of its powers, and now things can no longer grow. And this idea that the heath is dangerous is also in King Lear, when amidst a raging storm, Lear cries out, "Hear on the heath thunder that made ingrateful man," expressing his rage over the world's injustice. The heath is a stark contrast to the renewal offered in the pastoral dreamland Bohemia in A Winter's Tale, a place full of shepherds, fields, forests, and fresh air. We must defend and cherish the earth, for we know without it we cannot survive. Shakespeare's Sonnet 18, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" takes on a new meaning when addressed to our planet. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Let it not disgrace me if I demand before this royal view what rub or what impediment there is. Why that the naked, poor, and mangled peace should not, in this best garden of the world, our fertile France, put up her lovely visage. Alas, she hath from France too long been chased, and all her husbandry doth lie on heaps, corrupting in its own fertility. Her vine, the merry cheerer of the heart, unpruned dies. Her hedges, even pleached, like prisoners wildly overgrown with hair, put forth disordered twigs. And as our vineyards, fallows, meads, and hedges, defective in their natures, grow to wildness, even so our houses, and ourselves and children have lost, or do not learn for want of time, the sciences that should become our country, but grow like savages, as soldiers will that nothing do but meditate on blood, to swearing and stern looks, diffused attire, and everything that seems unnatural. You are assembled, and my speech entreats that I may know the let why gentle peace should not expel these inconveniences, and bless us with her former qualities.
Надгробків царських мармурові плити переживе потужний мій рядок. І образ твій, немов із міді литий, у вічність перейде. Хоч воєн крок зруйнує все, і статуї, і трони, каменярами тесаний граніт, але твоєї з пісень корони в тисячоліттях не забуде світ. Ти смерті й забуття минеш дорогу, і, відшукавши шлях в людські серця, вперед ітимеш, і з віками в ногу, аж доки дійде світ свого кінця. І в день суда ти житимеш у слові, в піснях моїх, що сповнені любові.
I was not angry since I came to France, until this instant. Take a trumpet, herald. If they will fight with us, have them come down or void the field. They do offend our sight. And if they'll do neither, we will come to them and make them skir as swift as stone and force it from the old Assyrian slings. Besides, we'll cut the throats of those we have, and those we shall take shall not taste of our mercy. Go and tell them so.
Hello, we are delighted to be part of the UN Movie Society's second annual Shakespeare at the United Nations project, taking place on the 23rd of April, which is of course William Shakespeare's birthday, in celebration of English Language Day.
We were so pleased to be part of this event last year, and again this, not least because of its significance in fostering cultural exchange and global dialogue through Shakespeare's works. We are the co-artistic directors of the RSC, and therefore for this period we feel ourselves incredibly privileged to be the custodians of the heartland of this writer's work.
And we are so fortunate to be able to witness over and over again how these works are genuinely transformative for audiences and artists alike on our stages, in classrooms, and in communities across the country and indeed the world. And when we turn our attention to this year's theme of peace and security, we don't have to look very far to see how these two ideas inspired our playwright.
Of course, he excelled at history plays, Richard III, Henry VI, parts 1, 2, and 3, Henry V, where he was exploring relatively recent history for Elizabethan audiences and depicting many a battle and struggle for the crown. But these plays mostly end with hope that a new king or queen might emerge and bring peace and stability to the land.
And this same outcome is particularly true in the late plays. And later this year, we will be producing The Winter's Tale at Stratford-upon-Avon, our home, where in that play, after a time of jealousy and madness, cruelty and dictatorship, when a queen is put on trial and imprisoned and a child dies, yet through a tear-inducing act of faith, the dead are reawakened, and through an incredible act of forgiveness, peace and justice are restored.
In Pericles, which we produced last year and brought to Chicago, an epic story of shipwrecks, death, slavery, and betrayal finally finds peace, with the king choosing to hand over his crown to his daughter. And the play ends with the words, "New joy wait on you. Here our play has ending."
We love that Shakespeare's plays transcend borders, languages, and cultures, resonating with universal themes, and our commitment at the Royal Shakespeare Company is to make Shakespeare accessible and resonant to everyone, and we are fortunate to work with the most exciting artists around the globe to do so.
We hope that this event inspires reflection on our shared humanity and strengthens global connections under the banner of Shakespeare and the United Nations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michelle Terry. I am the Artistic Director of Shakespeare's Globe. It feels like there's never been a more urgent time for nations to unite, not least in the face of maybe the biggest existential threat to humanity that the world has ever seen. Shakespeare understood that threat all too well over 400 years ago, and I'm so proud and so grateful to be able to share with you our short film of some of Shakespeare's observations and thoughts about the climate crisis, but also about the wonder that is Mother Nature. I hope you enjoy it. In 1599, the original Globe Theatre was built from upcycled, recycled wood.
This was actually the timber frame of another playhouse, simply called the Theatre, situated on the north side of the River Thames. It was dismantled piece by piece, and beam by beam was carried across the frozen Thames in the winter of 1598 and rebuilt about 100 yards from where I sit now. This happened because of sheer tenacity, will, and necessity. In 1599, wood was the main source of heat and energy. To keep up with the ever-increasing demand from people and industry, deforestation of English woodland was happening at an alarming rate, and wood was in short supply. An alternative fuel source was needed, and fast. So people turned to coal, more specifically sea coal, a cheaper alternative to the increasingly expensive timber. But the short-term benefit of burning both wood and sea coal did not take into account the long-term impact on people and the planet. Population growth, urbanization, globalized trade, mass consumption, nature as a commodity to be bought and sold, colonized and conquered. All of this destabilized the delicate balance and interconnected relationship between human beings and the natural world. Convenience, social progress, employment and profit were all won at the expense of public health, environmental devastation and planetary risk. Mankind, the wealthy kind of man, placed himself firmly at the center of the universe, seeking dominion over all the earth. The impact of human-made climate change had begun. The Anthropocene had begun. The Capitalocene had begun. At the same time as discovering brave new worlds, we were also destroying them.
The sea hath bounds, but deep desire hath none.
The earth is thronged by man's oppression, and the poor worm doth die for it.
And that it was great pity, so it was. This villainous saltpetre should be digged out of the bowels of the harmless earth. Our vineyards, fallows, meads, and hedges, defective in their natures, grow to wildness.
Oh, ruined piece of nature, this great world shall so wear out to naught.
Are you not moved when all the sway of earth shakes like a thing unfirm?
Never till tonight, never till now, did I go through a tempest dropping fire.
The winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land hath every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents.
Rheumatic diseases do abound.
I don't know where to hide my head.
We cannot live on grass, on berries, water, as beasts and birds and fishes.
And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension.
We are their parents and original.
Hear nature, hear, dear goddess, hear.
One touch of nature makes the whole world kin.
I know a bank where the wild tide blows, where the ox lips and the nodding violet grows.
Quite over canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses, and with eglantine.
And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
Canst tell how an oyster makes his shell?
No.
Nor I neither.
The great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve. We are such stuff as dreams are made on. And our little life is rounded
with a sleep.
Hello, my name is Josette Bushell-Mingo, and I'm the Principal and CEO of the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, University of London. Central is delighted to once again take part in this unique project, recognising English Language Day at the United Nations and marking the birth of Shakespeare. Thank you to the United Nations Movie Society and its president, our former student, Brenda von Gova. Thank you, Brenda, for the generous invitation to be part of this event. This year, our contributions focus on the environment and sustainability, and we are honoured to present monologues on these two themes. I would therefore like to extend my deepest thanks to Robin Kaur, who will perform a monologue from Hamlet in Mandarin, to Ruben Carlsberg, who will perform a monologue from A Midsummer Night's Dream in Swedish, and to Tracy Ifachor, who will perform a monologue from Taming of the Shrew in English. Each of these pieces speaks to the delicate balance between strength and fragility, both in nature and in ourselves. These monologues serve as a reminder of Shakespeare's ability to capture not only the vastness of our natural world, but also the depth of the human experience. I hope these words will inspire reflection, a renewed appreciation for our shared responsibility to the environment, and a recognition of the interconnectedness between nature's sustainability and our own.
生存还是毁灭，这是一个值得考虑的问题。是默然忍受命运暴虐的毒箭，或是挺身反抗人世无雅的苦难，通过斗争把它们扫个干净。这两种行为，哪一种更加高尚？死了，睡着了，什么都完了。要是在这一种睡眠之中，我们心头的创痛以及其他无数血肉之躯所不能避免的打击，都可以从此消失，那正是我们求之不得的结局。死了，睡着了，睡着了，也许还会做梦啊。阻碍也就在这。当我们摆脱了这一具朽腐的皮囊以后，在那死亡的睡眠里，究竟将要做些什么样的梦？这不能不使我们踌躇顾虑。人们甘心久困于患难之中，也就是为了这个缘故。谁愿意忍受人世的鞭挞和讥嘲？压迫者的凌辱，傲慢者的冷眼，被轻冒的爱情的惨痛，法律的牵延，官司的横暴，还有费尽心情所换来的小人的鄙视。要是他只要用一柄小小的刀子，就可以清算他自己的一生。谁愿意负着这样的重担，在繁劳的生命的压迫下呻吟流汗？尚不是因为惧怕那不可知的死后，惧怕那个从来不曾有一个旅人回来过的神秘之国。是他迷惑了我们的意志，使我们宁愿忍受这样的折磨，都不敢向自己所不知道的痛苦飞去。这样重重的顾虑，使我们变成了懦夫。决心的、炽热的光彩，被审慎的思维盖上一层灰色。伟大的事业在这种考虑之下，也会逆流而退，失去了行动的意义。
Ack, allt det där svartsjuka smidigt ihop och aldrig sedan sist midsommar grydde. På fjäll och äng, i skog och dal vi möttes. Vid källans kiselbredd, vid säfrik bäck, vid havets stranden vågon brusade. Att dansa ringens dans efter stormens vissling. Följ med ditt skip, du störde lekande tro. Och därför har ju vinden som förgäves spelade för oss. Liksom för att hämnas ur havet sugit smittsam dimma upp, som fallande på marken gjort varenda stackars bäck så övermodig att den svämmat över sina breddar. Och därför har oxen så fåfängt oket dragit, och bonden svettats så fåfängt. Gröna kornet har ruttnat. Förn dess ungdom har fått ett skägg. Stallet tomt står på de fördränkta ängar, och kråkor hackar på de sjuka fåren. Att gyttja kägelbanan uppfylld där. De sköna labyrinter i det gröna ej kunna skönjas mer. Det finns ej väg. Ej människors barn känna mer vinterns fröjd, och natten gläds ej mer av jubel och sång. Därför har månen, flodens härskarinna, av vrede beleknad genomfuktat luften och alstrat gikt och flust till överflöd. Ja, årets tider utav denna oro förändring lidit. Silverhårig frost i purpurrosens friska sköte faller. Och gamle bore, kring isig panna en doftrik krans av ljuva sommarknoppar bär. Liksom på spe! Vår, sommar, bördig höst och bister vinter dräkter bitit om. Ej häpen värld känner åtskiljs mer, och deras frukt ena från den andra utav hela detta yngel av plåga är frukten av denna oenlighet. Vi har avlat dem och fött dem fram till världen.
Fie, and knit that threatening unkind brow, and dart not scornful glances from those eyes to wound thy lord, thy king, thy governor. It blots thy beauty, as frosts do bite the meads, confounds thy fame as whirlwinds shake fair buds, and in no sense is meet or amiable. A woman moved is like a fountain troubled, muddy, ill-seeming, thick, bereft of beauty, and while it is so, none so dry or thirsty will deign to sip or touch a drop of it. Thy husband is thy lord, thy life, thy keeper, thy head, thy sovereign, one who cares for thee, and for thy maintenance commits his body to painful labour, both by sea and land, to watch the nights in storms, the day in cold, whilst thou liest at home, warm, secure and safe, and craves no other tribute at thy hands but love, fair looks, and true obedience. Too little payment for so great a debt, such duty as a subject owes the prince, even such a woman oweth to her husband. And when she is froward, peevish, sullen, sour, and not obedient to his honest will, what is she but a foul contending rebel and graceless traitor to her loving lord? I am ashamed that women are so simple. To offer war where they should kneel for peace or seek for rule, supremacy, and sway, when they are bound to serve, love, and obey. Why are our bodies soft and weak and smooth? Unapt to toil and trouble in the world? But that our soft conditions and our hearts might well agree with our external parts. Come, you forward and unable worms. My mind hath been as big as one of yours. My heart is great, my reason haply more, to bandy word for word, frown for frown. But now I see, our lances are but straws, our strength is weak, our weakness past compare, that seeming to be most, which indeed we least are. Then veil your stomachs, for it is no boot. In token of which duty, if he please, my hand is ready. It do him ease.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesses him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His sceptre shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself, and earthly powers doth then show like its gods when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy.
Hello, I'm Professor Michael Dobson, the Director of the Shakespeare Institute here in Stratford-upon-Avon. And this year, 2025, marks the 80th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations. As you've seen from the extracts from Shakespeare featured in this special video for Shakespeare's birthday, Shakespeare's works are extraordinarily good at articulating some of the founding pillars of the United Nations Charter. Shakespeare's works are now part of the lifeblood of Bollywood. He is the most performed playwright in France, and the live energies of his plays express themselves in no drama, in Kuhn opera, and in rap, no less than they do in English iambic pentameter. Further examples of Shakespeare's significance at historical turning points worldwide might include the production of Hamlet, staged in Kabul in 2016, and of an anti-apartheid Othello in Johannesburg in 1987, while the most recent International Shakespeare Festival to have been inaugurated takes place every June in Ivano-Frankivsk in Ukraine. These are plays which gravitate to situations in which they're needed anywhere. Written without the imposition of a single authorial viewpoint, supplying words to be spoken from a range of mutually conflicting positions, Shakespeare's plays enact by their very form a strong sense that truth is only attained through dialogue. Let's have more dialogue in the hopes of having more truth. Happy birthday to Shakespeare, and happy birthday to the United Nations.